Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back finally in Albert Park. Yes, Australia returns to the F1 calendar this weekend and yeah, back in Melbourne once more there. Again, as always, for one of our last question mark challenges. Now, of course, this week, for those of you guys that have been following closely, the F1 game has actually been released with a new patch. So we've kind of had a few issues. It seems every time Codemasters bring a new update to the game, it kind of breaks all the hard work people put into mods there. So for this one, we're going to be racing as Sebastian Vettel, of course. His return back to Aston Martin this weekend. I was originally going to do this, you know, you've always got to do it as Daniel Ricciardo at his home Grand Prix there. But yeah, the McLaren mod wasn't really working very well, so I thought we'd jump in with Sebastian Vettel in his Aston Martin instead there. So yeah, a couple of small little things, that won't be quite working as we would have wanted for this one today. That is a very, very disturbing Guan Yu Zhou mixed with Antonio Giovinazzi there. But yeah, starting from the back though, intrigued to see how Seb's going to get on this weekend. Of course, free practice yesterday didn't really quite go to plan. Of course, issues in FP1 and FP2 there, but fingers crossed, you know, Aston Martin can get the car sorted. You know, I want to see him scoring points. I want to see everyone scoring points at the end of the day there. But having a look then at our starting grid here for the Australian GP, Max Verstappen on the pole ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. Mercedes making some good progress this weekend. George Russell is on row 2 there. He is accompanied by Sergio Perez in P4. Lando Norris, a very good job by him and McLaren there, ahead of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz there with your homeboy Danny Rick in P8. Gasly and Fernando Alonso round out your top 10, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda and Esteban Ocon. Stroll, our teammate, in P13, ahead of Valtteri Bottas, Alex Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Nicholas Latifi. Mick Schumacher in P18 are ahead of Kevin Magnussen, and of course, yes, us, Sebastian Vettel, starting right at the rear of the field here. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below where you think we'll finish this one today, and let's head down trackside then, finally back in Albert Park this weekend for the Australian Grand Prix. Right, well, here we are then on the grid, ready, finally back in Albert Park. Yes, it feels good to be back, you know, sort of watching the F1 cars this morning, racing around the circuit in free practice. And yeah, fingers crossed, we'll wait and see what happens here on the new and improved Australian Grand Prix. Like I mentioned in the intro, though, had a few issues with the mod this week. You know, new F1 patch means they like to break the mods on F1 2021 here. But starting from the back of the grid, Sebastian Vettel's return to Formula 1 as well. Really looking forward to this one here today. We're actually going to keep it simple. We're not going to go for the alternate strategy this weekend. We're going to go soft and then mediums here. But 15 laps then are ahead of us around the Albert Park circuit. Let's wait and see if we can try and get a nice clean start there. 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go. And actually getting off to a rather tidy start there. So you head down in towards turn 1. Of course, the scene of many incidents in the past. And we're just going to take it nice and clean and tidy through the first corner there as Kevin Magnussen makes the move on his teammate Mick Schumacher there. Haas not really having the qualifying session they would have wanted after the good run of form early on in the year. But of course, they head into this weekend with no spare chassis, as we can't seem to make any progress through the first couple of corners there. Bottas and Zhou Guanyu trying to dispute P16 and P15 there as K-Mag just cut across my nose in through sector 2. But yeah, got to try and get the power down though. Of course, like I said, you know, Sebastian probably a little bit rusty. I'm sure he picks up getting back into a Formula 1 car pretty quickly nowadays. You know, he's been there for the better part of 15 years. But, you know, you don't want to bin it early on your first race back, I'm sure, though. So, yeah, just trying to keep it clean and tidy early on here. And, of course, yeah, this is the first time I've driven the Aston Martin in a very long time on the F1 games as well there, as we try and get a good run out onto the back straightaway. Just going to use a little bit of battery as Kevin Magnussen goes defensive, but still nothing happening early on here. I'm sure, you know, real-life race this weekend, new and improved changes. There might be a chance to move past K-Mag, though, in towards the final few corners, which we will absolutely take. Thank you very much. So we have made progress then. So, big kick of understeer and oversteer there from the back end. But Verstappen leads the way at the end of lap 1. We've made up 1 spot then into P19. They're ahead of Kevin Magnussen. Next up then, Mick Schumacher as we just overshoot turn 1 slightly. And now we might be under pressure. No, K-Mag runs a little bit wide there in the wake of us, trying to maybe have a look around the outside, but nothing was happening there. Of course, yeah, Aston Martin haven't really had the best start of the season in 2022. I think a lot of us were predicting a bit more from the team there, especially with how much money they've pumped in recent times. But, you know, maybe the return of Sebastian Vettel, you know, perhaps still their X Factor down at Aston Martin, you know, he could be really, really important over the course of this year to at least sort of help them develop the car and set the team up for the future as well. There's Verstappen again, another new fastest lap there, trying to extend the gap to Hamilton as again, need to try and get a bit closer to Mick Schumacher then. Maybe we can try and get a run down the back straight with the help of the DRS there. One place this car does feel pretty good, actually, is through the S's there, and that can be really, really critical here because there's not many opportunities to overtake around Albert Park. Thought about it down in towards the final sector, but had to settle back in behind Mick once more here. But yeah, of course, the Aston Martin, not quite like the Ferrari and Red Bull we've done the other last question mark challenges with. You know, this thing probably, yeah, not going to be able to slice and dice its way right towards the front like some of the other cars, but we have got a decent run at the final corner here on Mick Schumacher, finding more and more time as the laps slowly tick by. And again, just running a little bit wide there through turn 1, and it really upsets the balance of the car still. Oh, Mick Schumacher there, we had a bit of a look and he locked up, perhaps just watching his mirrors a little bit too much there. Of course, these two very good friends in real life. Seb a bit of a mentor to young Mick Schumacher, but I don't think that's going to stop him trying to pull off a move as we get a really nice run out onto the back straightaway here to the outside of Mick Schumacher. Going to have to use a bit more battery as we head down in towards Sector 3. But look at this, Mick fighting back. We do hook up the car though around the outside, and I think Mick Schumacher will have to concede P18 then in this GP. Slow but steady progress early on there, as now we've got the Williams and the Alfa Romeos just in front. Oh, big wobble again at the final corner though. Very, very different car to the Red Bull and the Ferrari.
Gap to teammate ahead is 7.4 seconds.
You just can't seem to attack anywhere with the same sort of confidence, and that's weird to try and adjust to. Starting to slowly work out though what this car's capable of in the dirty air there. It's always that sense of you don't want to stack it early on in a GP there, as we get a little bit out of shape out onto the back straightaway here, but we are closing in on Nicholas Latifi still. The Canadian tries to give me a squeeze there and chops the nose off right at the apex. So yeah, we're just sort of pushing, you know, sort of pushing the envelope a little bit more each lap as it unfolds there, as there's someone just up the road with issues. That's one of the McLarens, I think. No, it's an Alpha Tauri, sorry. Oh, getting a really nice run actually out onto this little section of the circuit. Might now be able to have a look towards the inside of Latifi. Again, he tries to go super aggressive on the defence there, but this time around we're not having any of it. A bit of a late send there, but Kamui Kobayashi would have been proud of that one. And we are now up into P17 then of the GP. I'm sure Latifi and Williams probably not fond of the move, but if you're going to keep moving around in the braking zone like that, you've got to expect that at some point someone's going to send it. Oh, there we go. Guan Yu Zhou, first car around us into the pits at the end of lap 7. Pretty much done half a race though. The tyres don't tend to wear that badly here at Albert Park, as now we're going to see Hamilton, Russell that is, and one of the Red Bulls of Sergio Perez re-emerging out of the lane. So yeah, we're going to maybe see a little bit of disputes going on then over the next couple of laps there as these guys try to carve their way back through. But are we going to pick the end of this one, or are we going to try and extend one lap longer? Softs still feel like they've got a lot of life in them, but of course just don't want to get undercut. End of lap 8. There we go. Bottas, and I think that was probably Tsunoda into the pit lane now just in front of me, as we got Lando Norris all over the back of us, as we are going to now be running quite high up in this GP. Look at that, P6 then at the moment, but we've got Lando Norris all over the back of me trying to maybe make a move. Not really want to fight the McLaren, and yeah, unfortunately the McLaren, the other team, that's livery seems to have been a little bit balked this weekend. I was going to do this as Daniel Ricciardo, as I mentioned in the intro, but I thought, yeah, we'll go with Seb, you know, on his Formula 1 return. Lando Norris is going to give me a nice little bit of DRS though, as we are going to box at the end of this lap. Got to try and utilise some of whatever the mediums are going to give us in this GP. I'm just hoping, you know, perhaps we've been able to at least close up the gap a bit more to Guan Yu Zhou. No, we can't pit. Why had Stroll not pit up until now? Why had Aston Martin gone so long in this race with both cars there? So we're going to have to stay out for another lap then. Why is Stroll not pit until now? He was on mediums. So Stroll went for the alternate strategy. We should have pit a long time ago then. I was always just going to wait for the lap after Lance. But I thought he'd pit ages ago then in this GP. So we're going to have to go out for one more. 10 laps on a set of softs is probably not ideal. But we're not losing too much, I don't think. Right, well now at the end of lap 10 then, we're going to have to box in now. We've got both Ferraris just behind us. Oh, they've not had a good race out of it. It's Antonio Giovinazzi. Of course, that must be actually Zhou Guanyu. Yeah, having still a few teething issues with the mod there. But, yeah, Zhou Guanyu then out of the Australian Grand Prix then. Not how he would have wanted to finish his first race here at Albert Park. But, of course, in real life, new pit lane speed limit this weekend. On the F1 game, it's still just 37 miles an hour there. As we're going to head into our box. Of course, a very early stop here for the Aston Martin team. 2.7 second stop isn't particularly brilliant either here, as here's Yuki Tsunoda heading down the lane. We've got Alex Albon just behind him as well, so Albon's lost out over the pit window here. Here's Bottas as well.
Speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
So we have definitely gained a little bit then on Valtteri Bottas, but yeah, he's on hard tyres trying to get to the end, so not too sure what that's all about. Definitely can close down the gap to Valtteri then, but Albon 5 seconds up the road. That might be a tall order. All over the back again then of Bottas.
Your tyres need to go the distance.
I don't think tyre wear is going to be an issue between now and the end of this Grand Prix, Jeff, as we get a really nice run out through turn 1 and turn 2 here to the outside of Bottas in towards turn 3. The Alfa Romeo holds firm. Can we get the nose up the inside there? No, not quite. Oh, why is Bottas going so slow through turn 4? We need to try and get past the Alfa Romeo as soon as possible here. We might try and do a similar sort of move to what we did on Latifi. Slow in to this chicane and really attack the curbs. Get on the power, get on the battery as well on the exit there. And this time round, we're going to still switch to the inside of Valtteri Bottas, and we will make the move work there. Another robust move down into what used to be, I want to say, turn 9. And now, yeah, up into P15 then of the Grand Prix. Albon, less than 4 seconds up the road. If we keep pushing, this gap might be closable. This is some vintage Sebastian Vettel. You know, this is throwing me back to the old days where he used to be able to pull out 3 seconds on the car behind him in just one lap here at the start of Grand Prix, the way he used to dominate back in the early 2010s. It's not quite dominating the sport, though, but it is still trying to close up, and every position still counts. Doesn't always feel the same, but I'm sure we'd rather finish P14 here than P15, so really trying to hound Alex Albon in the final couple of laps then here from Albert Park. Gap down under 2 seconds, and we're still just trying to balance out the battery there. We want to make sure we close up to him, but also want to make sure if we do, we got enough battery to really launch an attack here as we head out through the back straight chicane. Of course, we won't deal with that anymore when F1 2022 comes out. I am very excited to drive the new version of this track on an official F1 game. Back to start the final lap then here from Albert Park, and I wonder if that Williams has got some small issues. Another new PB for the Grand Prix there as we attack the curbs through turn 1. It's going to be all or nothing then.
We're seeing a gap form.
Exactly what we want to hear as well. Bottas completely out of the picture here as we're trying to close up on Alex Albon. Made a brave and robust move earlier on in this GP on his teammate. Are we going to be able to do the same thing to Alex Albon in the dying stages here as we get a little bit of a kick there? Do not want to nudge the curbs in these new F1 cars here, and the curbs around part of Albert Park very high as well. But as we close up, we can see the Safina logos getting bigger and bigger on the final lap then of this GP. Max Verstappen, he's come through 2 wins in a row now in F1 2022 to certainly stake his claim for a back-to-back championship here, but we're still trying to close up to Albon. It's going to completely depend on the run we can get out of this chicane there. We attack the curbs on the exit. We've got the DRS though. Albon, you can see he's got no battery left. Down in towards the final chicane we go. We're going to have a look to the inside. No! Oh, it was always going to be an aggressive send there, and it's not often a place where you can make overtakes, as we're going to have to try and get back on the road there, and it was all or nothing late on. Mick Schumacher, I apologise profusely. Oh, it's all gone down the drain right at the very end here in this Australian Grand Prix. Schumacher's out. Oh no.
Looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
It all went down the pan right at the very... I've completely cooked the rears. Nothing we can do about those rear tyres there. But I thought Albon broke just that little bit early in towards the final big braking zone of the lap, you'd argue. But unfortunately, yeah, we just tried to get the nose to the inside. I mean, we may as well give the fans some donuts at this rate there. But yeah, tried to get the car to the inside. Albon had already committed to the corner there, and nothing we could do. Just got squeezed out on the apex. I think we were optimistic, but, you know, last lap, you're always going to have to try something like that. Up towards the line then. Definitely not the race we wanted, but good fun nonetheless.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Another superb Australian Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Sebastian Vettel would definitely be my first choice. He showed up a lot of the drivers out on the track today and didn't show any signs of slowing down.
Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. The end of the Australian Grand Prix. Nice to return to the land down under there. But Max Verstappen takes home the win ahead of Hamilton and George Russell there. Mercedes making big progress this weekend there. Perez in fourth ahead of Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, Gasly, Ricciardo and Alonso rounding out your top 10 there. And yeah, on paper, wasn't quite the best race in the world there. 20th to 18th, I'm sure wouldn't be the return Seb would want this weekend. But, you know, we were battling it out for P14 there in an Aston Martin car that was definitely still off the pace. And, yeah, we did set a faster PB than Lance Stroll as well there. So, clearly there was a bit of pace in the car. But thank you all so much for watching this little Ask a Question Mark challenge. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. And we'll be back very soon with more Formula 1 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.